Hey everyone, it's Kathy and you're back here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm located here in the United States of America, but I can take care of your stamping needs no matter where you live across the United States. So if you are not currently working with a demonstrator and you're interested in any of the products that I show, please get in touch with me. All of my contact information is located below, and you can also check out my blog post that will have everything that you need to know about today's video. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to center in today on a pack of paper. This is known as the Brights, and these are the Designer Series papers. And let me show you in the catalog where you can find those, because sometimes they're hard to find. If you look into the catalog and go in under the Designer Series paper, there's usually a section that just is dedicated to the papers. These are all of our 12 by 12s. Well, when I say that, this one is a 6 by 6, but most of these packs are 12 by 12. But if you come over to here, these are our in colors, and these are all of our basic colors, our brights, neutrals, regals, and subtles. And they come in a variety of colors and patterns. Now the colors stay the same year after year until Stampin' Up! Decides to retire some colors and bring in some new ones. The end colors change every 2 years. So every year we rotate one of the colors out, rotate in a new one. But not to confuse you, what we want to center in today is on the brights. And I'm going to show you what the bright paper looks like. It is a beautiful pack of very vivid colors. We have our Bermuda Bay, our Coastal Cabana, our Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, oh shoot, I forgot that one. I was doing so good, I was on a roll. That one is the Melon Mambo, Pacific Point, and Poppy Parade. So you can see there's a wide variety of colors in the bright collection. So what we're going to do today, we're going to make some, we always find ourselves in the need for some fast cards. And I know fast cards are not always the most popular, but that's what we're going to do today. These are like no frill, but a card nonetheless that is handmade. So I'm going to pull out my paper trimmer, and I have here, oh, I got something on that. And you know what, we're gonna fix that so we can still use it. We're gonna put paper on top of it, so we're gonna go ahead and cut it. I might be able to erase that. Let's see. Let's hope it's just a smudge of dirt or something that will come right off. That looks pretty good. So, you know, never throw your paper out. This is the basic white thick, so this is a nice heavy duty. So I'm going to put it into my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut it in half on the 11-inch side at 5.5. So just line it up on that 5.5 inch. Make sure my score blade's up to the top, my cut blade here, and I'm just going to slice up. And in order to make this into a card base, we're going to turn it, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, because this is our 8.5 inch side, and half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So I'm going to bring it right here to 4 1/4. I'm going to bring both my blades down. The light gray one is the score blade, so I'm just going to go across that a couple of times. This gives us our indentation, and you always want to fold in to where the raised section is. That will always give you the best chance of getting a nice even fold. So that's one card. I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. Line it up at 4 1/4. Use our score blade and score it. Take it out, fold it in half. Now we will come back with a bone folder and crease that down better. Now we're going to do another one. This time I'm going to cut it on the 8.5 inch side. So I'm going to put it in at 4 1/4. And we're going to slice it. This will give us a different orientation of a card. So I'm going to slice that up, and then I'm going to turn it. This time we're going to score it at 5.5. So we're just doing the opposite. So again, I'm going to bring my blades down. I just need the score blade. Score it, bring it out. Now you can see we have a card that will either open like this or like this. Here we have a card that will open like this or like this. So it's the same size card. Both will fit in an envelope. It's just the two orientations that you can get from an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So one more. We're going to put this in at 5.5. Score it and fold it. Alright, we're going to take our trimmer and set it to the side for a minute because I want to bring my bone folder out, because it's very crucial to use a bone folder or something that you can get a really good crease on that card base, because we want our cards to lay flat. So just, all we're doing is reinforcing that score line, and now our cards lay nice and flat, and that makes for a good base for putting on our designer series paper. That's where this is going to come in. So now we have to decide which color do we want to use. I have a diagram that I've made for y'all, and it will be on the blog post. I think I want to go with that gorgeous grape. There's just something that's so pretty about that. Or do I? I'm always so indecisive. I love the blue too. So let's try the blue. I'm going to take one of each pattern. It comes with 2 patterns, actually 4, because they're different on the back side as well. So you can use either side of this. I have a diagram, like I said, that I made, and I have a really nice one. This was just the one I handmade, but the one that will be on the blog post will actually have these lines in broken lines, and it will have little arrows that point down to your tick mark, telling you that's 2 inches. So basically what you will do is measure from here to here and make a tick mark, turn it a 1/4 of a turn, that would be counterclockwise, and measure 2 inches from the corner to here, tick mark, turn it again. You're going to do that 4 times to where you have 4 different tick marks. Then all you're going to do is connect top to bottom and side to side, and then you'll have this, and then you'll have an A, a B, a C, and a D. Now how's that going to work out for a paper? Let me show you. I'm going to take this template, and I would suggest to take a piece of cardstock, make yourself a template, and then take a pencil and come in and make your tick mark right there. Do the same thing, turn it and make a tick mark. Turn it. Now if you're using a ruler, you can just very easily turn it to the ruler, make your tick mark, and keep going. I'm going to turn it again, and I'm just pulling it down the least little bit so that I can mark the edge of that. So once I get my tick marks on there where I need them, I know that I need to cut from here to here, and from, oh, did I lose that? From here to here. So all we're going to do at that point is line this up in our trimmer. And remember, we're going to cut from top. Here's my top tick mark. So I'm going to line that up in there. I'm going to pivot until I get that tick mark into the line of my trimmer. Let me pull this up so you can see. So there's my tick mark right here, and here's my tick mark down here. I just want to make sure that both of those tick marks are lined up into the track of my trimmer. Once they are, I'm going to put that score blade out of my way, lock down my guide, and slice. Very simple. Now I need to keep this intact, and we're going to turn it, and now we're going to cut on the other side from that tick mark And you want to keep this together as best as you can to this tick mark. So lining up just like that, hold them in place. Once you put your bar down, you're pretty good. Just hold it tight and slice. Now that's going to give you 4 pieces of cardstock that we're going to use to decorate these cards. And it's going to be so easy because we can flip them. Let's do this one too. Let's do, I don't know, let's just go with this one first. And I'm going to show you some other colors that I did as well. So I'm going to start off with this one. And there's so many different ways that you can put this on here. You can put it like this. But you can do something else. If you wanted to bring in another blue, let me set my drink over here so I don't knock it over. And I'm going to bring some card mats over. And let's see, we need a balmy blue. Let's see if I have a balmy blue in here. And if we do, that's a Pacific Point. That would be pretty on there. We could actually cut this down. So let's bring our trimmer over again. And we're going to cut this down to 4 1/8. 4 1/8. So you're going to see we're just going to take a scant little piece off of that to 5 3/8. So 1, 2, 3. And again, that's going to be a smidgen off of that side. And then we have a additional matting to put on our card. This is how we can jazz our cards up. Now we could very simply put this down, glue it down, stamp a sentiment here, put a couple gems on it or a bow, and call it a done deal. But if you want to step your card up, bring in a mat, something like that, and then lay this piece on top of that, giving you that little border. And then you can always come back in with a piece of white. We could do a circle. Let's grab a punch and let's do the Label Me Lovely. This is a really neat punch. It's been around for a while, but it's a great punch. And you could put your sentiment like here, and there we have a card. You could put your sentiment up here, you could put it over to this side, you could actually bring this up here and put your sentiment right there. So many different ways that you could do this. You could bring this down halfway and put your sentiment there. So let's go ahead and let's put this one together, and then we'll do another more simple one. And don't forget, we have the polka dots also. I think I like the plaid on the darker, so let's decide where we're going to put this. I think I like it right about there. And then we can put this right here and stamp a sentiment on it. Alright, so let's go ahead and glue these together. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. So I'm just going to run some adhesive along here. Something like that. And now you want to be careful when you get ready to set this down, because you want to make sure you're getting it exactly where you want it. So I decided I want it to go right about here. Just like that. And then I'm going to set the entire thing. I think for this I'm going to use the liquid glue because it will give me a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm just going to put some liquid glue just like that, and put that down on my white card base. Give it a good press. I love bringing these little one-sheet wonders to y'all every now and then, because I think all of us reach a point where we need a little something extra. We also could punch another punch, and let's try this one. This is the banner Pick-a-Punch, and we are going to cut off a piece of this that's about yay long, and I'm going to use my trimmer because I can't cut straight, and I don't mind admitting it. I'm going to do that at 3/4 of an inch. And I think what I want to do is I want to do a ribbon tail on it, so I'm going to slide that up into this punch that out, and decide how far across my card I want that to go. I think I want it to go about to there, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little mark right there. Then I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut that straight across. That won't be too hard to do. So right about here, and just cut it. And then I'm going to put this back into this banner punch, sliding it into the track. I always like to turn it over and look at the back side to make sure I've got it in there nice and straight. And then I'm just going to punch. Now, what is this going to do? This is going to give us another element to put on our card. Something like that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down flat. So I'm just going to use a piece of my Stampin' Seal. And we are going to lay this across here, right about midway top. Something like that. Press it. Now we want to stamp something on this. So let's grab us there's a couple of stamp sets that I really like and for sentiment. And that's Peaceful Moments and Go To Greetings. Both of these are great for front sentiments on a card. So let's look at this one. And what you want to do is you want to look at your stamps and see what will fit on your punch. So that would fit. These are the moments we look back on with joy. I love that sentiment. So I'm going to use that one on this punch. on this punched out piece. And because I want it to coordinate with everything, and that's the great thing about Stampin' Up, we can grab the Pacific Point ink, and our ink is going to match everything in our Designer Series paper and our cardstock. So that's always a great thing when you're making greeting cards. So I'm going to grab a stamp block. That one would work. Yep, I think that will work. So I'm going to go ahead and just tap that in my ink. I'm being careful not to rock my stamp. I just want to get ink on the actual raised up portion of my stamp. So I'm just going to go back over it. That looks really good and inked. So now I'm going to sit this down in the center. Again, I'm not going to rock. I'm just going to sit it down. I'm going to hold it there just for a moment. And once I feel that I've got a good impression, I'm going to raise it straight up. These are the moments we look back. I don't like the way that looks. So we're going to turn it over and we're going to do that again. This time I'm going to use a little bit more pressure. And straight up. Don't particularly like that either. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. When you don't like what you stamp, just stamp it again. This time I'm going to stamp it right here and up. I like that one. Now I'm going to take my punch, and I'm going to take my punch to the sentiment. This will probably give me a little bit better Let's just cut this off right about here. So that way we can get that in the punch just where we want it. So I'm going to line this up in here, something like that. Making sure I'm getting it nice and straight. That looks really good. Punch it. And there is our sentiment. So now we can just bring this over, pop it up. We might even see if we got some ribbon. We have this ribbon that is pretty. And I think this would look really pretty on there because it's the blue and the white. Let's go ahead and cut off a piece of this about yay long. When I say yay long, that means I don't have a specific amount of ribbon. I'm just kind of winging it. So sometimes we just have to wing it, right? Now for this one, I think I want it maybe something like this, and then this maybe right here. Oh, I like that. Alright, so how am I going to do that? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a glue dot right here. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to grab a glue dot, my trusty little glue dots. And I'm going to bring that back over. I'm going to put a glue dot right here on that ribbon. And then I'm going to cross it just like that. That's going to hold that in place for me. Now I can put another glue dot underneath right there. This time I'm going to go ahead and take my ribbon to my glue dot. I think that works out so much better, and we are going to stick that down into the glue, peel it up, see it adheres directly to my piece of ribbon right there. Now I can stick this down something like that. I'm going to cut my tails off just a little bit because they don't need to be quite that long. Looks so good. And then I can put this up on dimensionals right over top of that ribbon, and it gives us that little extra special element that we didn't expect to see. And I love it when you can take a card and just really step it up, and that's what we did with this one. We stepped it up. So I'm going to put dimensionals on both sides. That might be enough. And then I'm going to peel those off, those little backers off of there. And then we're going to make sure we have our sentiment going in the right direction. Then we're just going to glue this down right over top of it. I might even do a little glue dot right up underneath the edge of that, just to make sure that it's holding it where I want it. So another glue dot. And this one I'm going to take right here and glue that right to there. And there is our card. Now I'll put a blue mat and a white mat inside, and we'll have one of our cards done. Now if you're in a hurry for a quick card, this is the way to go. Alright, let's move all this stuff out of our way. I do need to clean my stamp before I make a mess with it, because I did get ink around the edges. I cleaned that off really good with my Simply Chamois. And now we can go ahead and put this back into our stamp case. just like that. So now let's go ahead and grab our next piece. And I think this one I want to do with this polka dot. And when you run your paper through the trimmer, sometimes you get a little rippled edge on it. I like to take my bone folder and just go across it. And what it does, it just kind of irons it out so it's nice and flat. So this one we're going to do simple. I think we're just going to do something very simple on this one. And this one I'm going to use the one that opens like this. And I think for this one, I think I'm going to put this down directly onto my cardstock, just like that. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to put adhesive on the plaid side. And let's see, we're going to go in this direction. So just about like this. And then I'm going to use that same Pacific blue again. I mean Pacific Point. It is a blue. But this time I think I want to do the happy birthday. And I love that happy birthday. So I'm going to pull out my happy birthday. And we are going to stamp this directly onto our card. Just a nice little happy birthday right about here. Very nice. Now we're going to put some gems on here and maybe even a bow. And I think that will definitely raise this one to the next level. Let's get our little Simply Chamois and clean that stamp. And that's just water on this. It's really good cleaner. It's a chamois basically that I keep wet, and it cleans your stamps so good. All right, let's go ahead and close this up. I'm gonna pull over some gems because I want to see what I've got that will look good. And this is what I do. I just pull over and look. Those are a little too light. So I just go through them and see what I've got that kind of pops out at me. Those would be pretty. Okay, these are the Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems. And I'm going to use that blue. It's not exactly the same shade as the Pacific Point, but you know what? It doesn't have to match completely. Just need to be blue. And these are flat. They would go into the mail really easy without a whole lot of extra postage. So I'm going to put one right there and one right up here, and one, oops, that one just flew across the desk. Let's put another one right there. And then I want to look in that ribbon again and see. You can't go wrong with white. And this is the crinkled seam binding. And this is a really supple ribbon that's really, really easy to work with. So I'm going to do my little finger loop bow. And I'm going to cut this off about to here. And I'm going to thread it through and bring it back under. This is going to make a really fluffy, soft, textured bow. And bring that back through there. And then I'm just going to rock it, rock it, rock it. And there is us a very cute, and I got ink on my fingers. Good thing I didn't get it on my ribbon. Okay, we can put this bow right about here. I don't know, that kind of looks overpowering. Let's see. Let's see if we can go smaller. We can always go smaller. As long as we don't get knots in our ribbon, which I did, that's okay. Click that off right there. And I'm going to do a bunny ear bow. As always, well, you know what? I really like these bows. I'm going to do a single one. So let's... A single loop bow, you basically lay your ribbon across your hand, bring it over, go through your finger. I got static in my hands, so my ribbon's not wanting to cooperate. Come on. Pull it through. Get that straight. And then we're going to loop it back through here. Bring my fingers together a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm going to bring my fingers closer together. And there is a simple little bow. Not quite as little as I wanted it to be, but I think it might work. Yeah, that'll work. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip that off about to there and do this one the same way. And we're going to do our glue dot again. So I'm going to take the bow itself, set it into the glue dot, just like that. Pick it up. And we're going to put this on our card. How about right like that? That'd be different. And there is our second card. So you can see just how quick you can pop these out, and they can look the same or different, just done with that one sheet of paper, which I think is fantastic. All right, so let's move on to our next piece. So we need to decide again, do we want to go with just the polka dots or do we want to do the plaid? I think I'm going to do the plaid again. This time we're going to use the card that opens just like that one did, but we're going to do it in the portrait mode rather than landscape. So this one, I'm thinking I want to do up at the top like that. And I've got all this area down here that I can stamp on. So why don't we do some flowers to kind of accentuate that plaid. I'm going to find some small flowers. I think I'm going to go with this particular one. This is a really cute stamp set, artistically inked, and it looks like a wash of watercolor. So we're going to do these little flowers right here, and we are going to do those in that Pacific blue. And I'm going to put just a sheet of copy paper under this. Move everything out of my way. I don't want to stamp on that, so let's move that. And I am going to bring my ink pad and I'm going to stamp off. Yeah, I want it a little bit bolder, but we're going to do some different little stampings on here. Now I think we decided we're going to put this like that. So that gives me an idea where I want to stamp. So I'm going to start off right about there. And just by using some simple inks, you can come in and make your own designer series paper, but also adding that piece of designer series paper, you can have a piece that looks like it's a two-tone just by simply adding a few little stamps here and there. So let's see how that's going to look when we set this down on it. I like that. I like that a lot. I am going to do something a little bit different, and that is I'm going to come in with those little dots and just put a few little dots around our flowers. Kind of fill in that, I guess you would call it the dead space. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to do that actually in black. You'll be surprised what a little tiny bit of black on a card like this can do. So let's look at this. These are the little dots right there. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do, you don't want an overkill, you just want to drop a few of those little dots just over here and there. See, that's going to come over there. Let's see if we need a couple right there. And I think that's plenty. So now we've got that done. Let's cover our ink. We only have one more card to go and this will be done. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of this. Oh, and I got inky fingers, y'all. Yeah, like this. Is that right? I don't think that was right, but we're going to go with it. I am going to try to stamp another flower right in that little top corner, if I can manage it. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so all we need to do now is put a sentiment on this piece. Remember, we had this strip a while ago. Let's go ahead and cut it. And let's use that little banner punch, and we're going to put that in just like that and cut it. And this one in, and punch. Now we are ready to pop this up. I think it needs some blue. So let's see if I have, let's see, I might have a scrap. Oh yeah. Let's just cut a piece off of here, about like that. I'm just going to use my scissors to give me somewhat of a straight piece. And I need that to be cut just a tiny bit more. And we'll put that right across the middle, and we'll put this on it. And what are we going to say? Let's see if our happy birthday will fit across there. Perfect. That would make a really cute birthday card. So let's go ahead and stamp this. Go ahead and pick that up on my block. Open up my Pacific Point ink again. Oh, that's stamping really pretty. So let's get right over top of it. Very nice. And then we're going to pop this up on here. So I'm going to turn that over. And let's see. Yep, we have some more Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to put one right there, one here, and one in the middle. Make sure everything's balanced pretty well. And I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool to lift those backers off. It does a really good job of keeping them all together for me. So now I want to put this right across there. Let's see. Do I want it up or down or right about? I think I want it right about there. So I'm just going to take some liquid glue, and I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the back of that, place it where I want it, and then take my happy birthday and center it right in the middle. And there is a pretty little happy birthday card. Now we can put some gems on here, but I think with all of the inking we did, this card doesn't need anything except an inside. And like I said, we'll work on those. One more card left to do. Alright, so our last card is a portrait card. Let's see, we've gotten one that's a portrait, one that is a landscape, and this one's a portrait. So let's do this one landscape. So this one, I think I want to put this over on this side. Or do I want to flip it? Yeah, I think I'm going to do this one. Let's do this one like that. So again, I'm going to iron out my edges because I can feel my raised up edges there. So grab my bone folder. You know, once I start getting all this stuff on my desk, I can't find anything. So I am sure it is right here. And it is. Let me clean this stamp really quick before I make a mess. Let's go ahead and get these cleaned up too while I'm at it. This one don't want to clean too well because it's tiny. Sometimes the tiny ones you have to take them in and I am going to grab an alcohol wipe because I just feel like I need to get the ink off of my fingers before I make a mess. And usually alcohol wipes will take this ink right off my fingers without too much trouble. And it's also what I use to clean my stamp blocks and all of my tools. So those little alcohol wipes come in real handy. And I make them myself. I just buy a bottle of alcohol and a thing of just hypoallergenic wipes, and I just pour some alcohol inside the container. All right, yeah, I like it like that, but I'm wondering if I want to put like that. So why don't we cut this piece to be 4 inches. Yeah, let's cut this piece to 4. Let's see, it is a little wonky. I think that's a straight edge right there. So I'm going to put it at and let's bring it over to 4 inches. Maybe I'm gonna do this at 4 3/8. And then I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm just going to iron that piece out so it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to lay it right on the edge of my card. I want to put it down right here on this edge with just a tiny bit of white peeking on the side, and we're going to use our glue. Well, it looks like I've got a little clump in my glue. There it goes. And then I'm just going to lay this down, something like that. Give it a good press. Then we're going to take this piece and we're just going to bring it. Kind of wanted it to be tucked under, but you know what? That was hindsight. We're going to bring it right over the top. Just like that, I think. Remember what I said about ironing the edges of your paper. I can feel this one is raised up, and I do want to use, I want to use this side. That'll give us 2 cards with this side and 2 with the other. So I'm going to lay that down right about there, and I'm going to use glue. And I want to make sure that it's just about a 1/4 of an inch over, and let's press it down. And I think I'm going to use just a strip of white. Maybe I want to punch something again. So I'm looking at my punches and trying to decide. I like this one. This is the lasting label punch. And I'm going to go ahead and punch. Better yet, this punch has a very cute little thing that fits where you can see I've used this stamp set a lot. I think I'm going to do that in blue. And why not thank you? I think the thank you will fit in the middle. Or cheers. I don't know. I'm always so indecisive. There's happy birthday, thinking of you. I think we're going to try the thinking of you. Let's see how that works out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this first. Sometimes it seems like it takes me forever to do a card like this, but I don't plan these things ahead. I guess I ought to try to start doing that. But I just find myself that I create better on the fly. Turn on the camera, grab some products, and just kind of go with it. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to come in about here. So pretty. I love that. I'm going to leave my ink out. I'm going to stamp this off over here just to kind of clean that a little bit. And then I'm going to take the, oh, that's not the right one. How about the thank you? Oh, the thinking of you. Yeah, thinking of you. And we're going to put that right in the middle. Something like that. And go ahead and pick that up. That's about where I want it to land, so let's ink. And stamp. So pretty. Now all we have to do is take this to our punch. Gotta love a good punch. And just line it up in there. Just something like a dot. And punch. So now we can bring this back over. And we've got a beautiful sentiment that we can pop up right there. So I'm going to use some dimensionals for this. And I'm going to wrangle these off with my and then we're going to bring this over and sit it down right about here. And there we have another card. Where I tried to raise that up, I'm going to put just a dab of ink under there, and I'm going to use one of my little fine nosed glue dispensers. Make sure I get that glued down good. And there is that. I think we need some gems on this one as well. So let's go back over to these little flat blue ones, and I think I'm going to use a couple of those. Well, I dropped one. Okay, we'll just glue him right there. And let's get one of the bigger ones. And we'll put this one right about here. And I think I want one more right there, so I'm going to get a little one. And put that one right there. And there is our third card, our fourth card. So I'm going to move all of this out of my way, and we're going to bring our cards back in. We have this one, and this one, and we have this one, and this one. All done with one ink pad, white cardstock, with a little designer series paper and one piece of colored cardstock. So this is a great way to show you just how quick and easy you can throw a card together. And I had so much fun making these. I hope that you'll try that. And don't forget, I'm going to have this diagram on my blog post, so you can actually print this out and lay it on your piece of paper, or make your own and have your own diagram. And you can use this with any designer series paper, any occasion, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, whatever, and you can always come up with some beautiful little cards just by doing simple things like this. I love the way these turned out. I hope you did. And as I always say in closing, God bless and keep you, and let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is so worthy. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.